Lagos was a city of secrets. From the grand homes of Victoria Island to the busy streets of Surulere, everyone had a story hidden behind closed doors. And so, on the third Wednesday of every month, 4 women gathered at a cozy cafe tilde copyright in Lekki. They were Amara, Amina, Chipo, and Linda Weir, each with a smile for the outside world, but carrying a hidden ache. Together, they formed the Cheating Wives Club, a name they jokingly come up with after one too many glasses of wine. But as much as they laughed about it, their meetings gave them a space to be honest, free, and if only for a little while unburdened. "Ladies, cheers," Amara said, raising her glass. She was a striking woman in her early 40s, a successful lawyer with a presence that demanded respect. "To surviving another month without killing our husbands." Laughter erupted around the table, but beneath it lay truths only they understood. Each of them was in a marriage that looked perfect to the world, but it was marked by unspoken pain. Amara leaned in. "So, who's going first tonight?" Amara's marriage to Femi, a wealthy businessman, had started as a fairy tale. But over the years, Femi became more invested in his company, leaving Amara to become more of an accessory than a partner. In her loneliness, she had met Daniel, a gentle, artistic man who made her feel seen for the first time in years. "Daniel listens to me," Amara confessed. "He sees the things that Femi ignores. With him, I don't feel invisible." The women nodded, listening intently. They had each heard pieces of this story before, but tonight, Amara seemed more vulnerable. "Last week," she said, taking a deep breath, "he asked me to leave Femi." Amina's eyes widened. "Are you considering it?" Amara shook her head. "It's complicated. Femi has built a life for us, a name. How would I explain it to my family? And I know they'd never accept Daniel." The club members shared silent glances. Each of them knew how hard it was to break free from societal expectations, especially in their culture, where marriage was as much a public duty as a personal choice. Amina was quiet, reserved, a devout Muslim married to Musa, a conservative man who believed women had their roles. Amina had grown up with those values but now felt the stirrings of an identity that wanted to break free. Her soul craved color, freedom, laughter, things Musa frowned upon. Amina had met Khalil, a young, spirited artist who encouraged her to explore herself. She hadn't crossed any lines with him, but the attraction was undeniable. She looked down at her hands, embarrassed. "I haven't done anything with Khalil, not really. But I think of him a broken bar and I feel so guilty." Chipo, who was known for her boldness, put a hand on Amina's shoulder. "You're human, Amina. Marriage shouldn't make you feel caged." Linda nodded. "We all deserve to feel alive, Amina." The women sat in silence for a moment, each reflecting on what it meant to feel trapped in one way or another. Chipo was a mother of 3 and the wife of Tendai, a respected government official in Zimbabwe. Tendai was a good man in many ways, irresponsible, respected but emotionally distant. Chipo had grown tired of being seen as just a wife and mother. When she reconnected with Tinash, her high school love, during a trip back home, it was like opening a door to a life she'd left behind. Tinash had loved her once, and the chemistry between them was still electric. They shared stolen moments, hidden messages, and the promise of what could have been. "I know it's dangerous," Chipo admitted, biting her lip. "If anyone found out, it would ruin Tendai's career and our family. But sometimes, I think I'm suffocating." Amara gave her a reassuring smile. "We're not here to judge, Chipo. We're here because we know what it's like to lose ourselves." They raised their glasses again, a silent acknowledgement of shared secrets. Of all the women, Linda was the most independent. She was a successful fashion designer in Johannesburg, and her husband, Ndana, was an older, wealthy businessman who provided for her but showed little interest in her dreams. Linda's revelation took them by surprise. "I think I'm in love with a woman," she whispered, glancing around to ensure no one overheard. "Her name is Nomvula. She's an artist. With her, I feel safe. I feel a broken bar whole." The table fell silent as her words sank in. In their culture, being in love with a woman was taboo, something whispered about but rarely accepted openly. Yet they saw the glow in Linda's eyes, the joy that Nomvula brought her. "Linda," Amina said softly, You deserve happiness. We all do. Their stories intertwined that night, weaving a tapestry of courage, forbidden love, and a longing for freedom. As the months went by, each woman grew bolder in her secret life, balancing her public role with her private desires. But as any secret does, theirs eventually surfaced. Femi hired a private investigator, suspicious of Amara's distance. Musa became more controlling, forbidding Amina from leaving the house without him. Tendai's political rivals began digging into his personal life, putting Chipo at risk. And Ndanga found one of Nomvula's letters to Lindai. One by one, the women's worlds began to crumble. At their next meeting, the tension was palpable. "I can't keep doing this," Amara said, her voice shaky. "Femi is onto me. I don't know how much longer I can hide." Chipo nodded, a tear slipping down her cheek. "Tendai's campaign manager suspects something. If he finds out, it could destroy our family." Amina looked down, her face pale. "Musa threatened to send me back to my parents if he catches me lying again." Lindai, usually the boldest, was quiet. She had been forced to break things off with Nomvula, leaving her heart broken. "Maybe we were foolish," she whispered, pain etched in her voice. But even as they sat there, facing the fallout of their actions, a sense of resilience washed over them. They had tasted freedom, felt the warmth of passion, and glimpsed lives beyond what they'd known. They weren't ready to give that up. The aftermath was messy. Amara decided to confront Femi, confessing her loneliness and asking for a separation. Surprisingly, he didn't fight her. She had expected anger, but he only looked at her with a sadness she hadn't anticipated. "Maybe we lost each other a long time ago," he admitted. Amina, finding strength in her faith, chose to leave Musa. She returned to her family, embracing the woman she had become. Though it was a struggle, she finally felt at peace. Chipo confessed to Tendai, who, to her surprise, was hurt but willing to work on their marriage. He agreed to go to counseling, determined to rebuild the connection they'd lost. Lindai, though devastated by her breakup with Nomvula, found solace in her art. She threw herself into her work, creating a fashion line inspired by her journey. The designs told her story, each piece a tribute to the courage it took to be true to herself. Months later, the four women gathered once more, not as wives carrying secrets, but as friends who had found their voices. The Café Tilda copyright felt different that day, lighter, like a weight had lifted. "To freedom," Amara said, raising her glass. "To courage," Amina added. "To friendship," Chipo said. "And to love, in all its forms," Lindai concluded. They toasted, their laughter filling the Café Tilda copyright. They were no longer bound by the roles society had forced on them. Instead, they had chosen themselves, each one carving a path that, though uncertain, was truly her own.